be inside this bill. If we're all going to just say what's on our mind, it's going to go north, it's going to go around in circles. And I don't know what time the lady arrived, Karina, but we already suggested that you write a list 1 to 10. What you think should or should not be in that bill, so that the 6 champions of the bill, can you raise your hands please, so that people know who are the 6, that there's 1, and then here's the 3, and there's 2 more missing. Who are the 2 more missing? They're behind. And the other guy is not here. Anyway, so that they can figure out how to accommodate or not accommodate you, and let you know if they're going to accommodate you or not going to accommodate you. Because kung magulo ang grupo, hindi nagkakaisa, then how will your champions fight for what you want? I mean, maguguluhan din kami. We will be confused. And we have to sell this. If we ourselves are confused, how can we sell this? So, yun po ang sana magkaisa tayo. At the end of the day, at the end of a process, an iteration process, we come together with something common. Thank you.
You can just have the question later. I need to show first, and then you can have the question later. So we can like be class.
Inawin ko lang. Ayan. Actually, halo-halo talaga yung na-invite natin dito para lang malinaw sa mga tao. We want the critics of the cybercrime law to be able to, to grasp this initiative, the Magna Carta Protecting Internet Freedom. So, not all of them ay supporter na ng NCTIF. Yes. That's the reason why they have to answer everything. Dahil nga, gusto na i-convince kayo, yung mga hindi pa alam, yung NCTIF, para makuha nila yung support nyo. Ngayon, kung hindi pa kayo convinced, then ask them, and maybe, pag wala na kasi talaga tayong time, no? Represent na lang nila, dadaanan na lang yung iba. Pero, kung meron kayong mga katanungan pa, you can email them, post sa Facebook group. Yan, meron pong mga, i-send namin sa inyo yung contact details nila. Yun. Ngayon, kung gusto nyo ng maayos na proseso, kasi actually, sa civil society talaga ganun, diba? Nag-usap na kami nila SES niya na hindi naman lahat ang comfortable sa crowdsourcing yung online crowdsourcing. Ganyan, kasi matagal na nag-crowdsourcing yung NGO, civil society, pero hindi offline talaga. Kasi nakikita-kita, nagkakaroon ng consensus building talaga. Iba kasi yung crowdsourcing. Ngayon ko lang na-realize na hindi siya consensus building. Ano siya? Parang, siguro, hindi ko ba alam yung iba, pero this one kasi, hindi naman, halimbawa ako, nag-comment ako sa isang provision kung ano yung, meron akong interest, like yung sa ICT-related violence against women. Doon lang ako nag-comment. Pero the others, hindi ako nag-comment kasi hindi ko naman talaga kabisado yun. Ba't ako magko-comment doon? Ganon. So yun lang. So, daanan na lang muna siguro yung gusto pa nilang i-inform sa inyo. And then, if you have other questions, then, contact them. Yes. Then,
quickly lang. One, for sana lahat yung presentation, if you can give us a copy, and then we'll make sure that we'll give the rest copies. Plus, this presentation. Plus, okay, so we'll give all people here copies of their presentation, and we would encourage all also to read again the 70 plus 80. And then kung sabi nga ni Sir, Mark, na kung meron kayong wish list o meron kayong yung sasabihin nyo na masyadong mahaba, ibigay nyo na lang doon sa amin. Yan. So, that's 1 and 2. Pangatlo, please don't think of this as the only meeting. Hopefully, we would encourage FNA and Democracia to call series of meetings, especially for our CSOs, no? Yan kasi what we want to do is strategize, sabi nga ni Noel. But we can't do that here. We can't do that here. In fact, this half day just for this, kulang na kulang. Pero at least, meron ng mga inputs. And then, i-ano lang natin, i-online natin. But definitely, we will be asking for other meetings to strategize, to find out ano yung ng CFO, okay? And looking at the basic internet rights as human rights, gano'n. So please don't be limited na akala niya ito lang. We will be calling meetings in the future to follow up on this one. But as an assignment, kasi kulang yung oras, hopefully it give us all the presentations, and then you have your law. Tignan ulit natin, start commenting on it until such time we call on another meeting. And maybe there, baka more time on strategizing on how to support the bill if ever. Okay? Sige, thank you.
Yeah. Sorry. Later. We'll open the floor later. Have to run through this. Okay. One of the biggest issues that we come across is governance. So, especially after the end of the 15th Congress, we hope that the ICT would pass, but it didn't. And so when we decided to retool for the 16th Congress, we decided to put it in, and this is where it comes in. Okay. So we talked about the 4 pillars: rights, security, governance, development. This is the third. It's also a policy framework for governance. So when we talk about Philippine Internet Law, the policy and regulation is scattered across several offices. Right now, they're saying that okay now with the ICTO under the DOST. They're saying not really. There's so many other government offices that can go under the DICT, whose budgets would be enough to fund the entire DICT. So, there's no budget increase. You don't fund any agencies. The most budget increase you get are for the secretary and the research and asset. That's it. Okay. So, there's strategic objectives, powers, functions, standards, and mandates. It retools the mandates for example, the NTC. It specifically includes network and internet. We talk about, powers of the NTC to set the rates. Talk about public utilities. Okay. So, sections 21 to 27. Again, we didn't want an implied repeal. We didn't want to create a law where, okay, we said, here are the new offices, these are their powers, blah, 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 blah. And then the following laws are repealed, blah, blah, blah. No. What we did was, we took the existing agencies with their existing mandates, added to it, and then put it under the DICT. Okay. Section 81A of the, we were really thinking about how do we get this through, thinking about, the limited resources of government. So, it's very specific, hard-coded. For the first year at least, use existing appropriations and budgets. Okay. How does it promote good governance? The policy statement that the state is the primary duty there for internet and IT rights government security. Okay. And then, in part 9, he says that if those who are going to participate in the formulation of the implementing rules and regulations are separate for each of those parts: rights, government, development, security. Well, rights not as much because they're hard-coded, but for development, governance, for security, and they're not the same people. So, smart said we put in specific provisions to implement FOI principles. Section 13 and 27, and parts 9 and 10 contain some of them. It's a lot of hashtag see what I did there. going on when it comes to F1. Okay? That's it. Just for the speed presentation. So we can get to the question and answer portion very soon. Yes.
Okay, I will be talking about the development provisions of NCPIF. Okay, as we defined earlier, the Magna Carta, NCPIF is a policy framework. It's a holistic framework. That's why we included rights, governance, security, and development. So, if you look at the explanatory note, we noted there, and we are reiterating here, that the reason why development of ICT is important for the country's development is because for every 10% increase in high-speed broadband connections, the World Bank study has seen a 1.3% increase in the country's economy. And the World Bank study also has seen that for every 10% increase in subscriptions, there's a corresponding 0.8% increase. But we actually think that yung mobile subscriptions, yung contribution niya to the economy will grow exponentially. There was a recent study yung sa mobile trends. I forgot the exact title of the report, but it's I think it showed that for the past year there was 30+% growth in internet access via mobile broadband. Okay, so as we mentioned, one of the core principles is development. Kasama dito yung pag-promote ng healthy economic environment, pag-encourage ng growth of the Philippine ICT sector, and yung pag-encourage ng collaboration ng public and private sector in the growth of the internet and ICT space. So, ano yung specific provisions ng NCPIF on development? I'm citing here only sections 35 and 36, but if you go through the whole bill, meron talagang mga components that not only provide for governance, not only provide for security, but also provides for development. Kasi nakikita natin na these provisions, they go hand in hand. Na if you improve citizen participation in governance, for sure, mag-i-improve din yung effects sa economic development. And if we get economic development, may effect din siya dun sa pag-improve ng security. Not just in cybersecurity, but security natin as a country. Now, going to the specifics, under the DICT, we are providing for the DICT as the implementing agency of ICT infrastructure and facilities. What this means is that if the government will go into investments or partnerships with private entities on ICT infrastructure and facilities, si DICT yung dapat titingin. Is this correct? Tama ba na dito natin siya ilalagay? Of what use will this be for the economy? We are also pushing for the inclusion of projects on ICT infrastructure and facilities as a mandatory part of the investment priority plan. As you know, every year, the DOI and the DOF, they produce a list of the investment priorities for the country. So, itong mga industries and companies that are covered by the ICT, they are entitled to special incentives. So, we are saying that under the NCPIF, we want na mandated siya every year to be included in the ITC. Okay. Under the MTC naman, the MTC will take charge of overseeing the provision of basic telecommunications, network, internet services in the underserved areas. What we mean by this is that magkakatotoo lang yung citizen participation if, as they say nga, dun sa last mile, aabot yung internet facility services natin. As of now, we do not have that, and that's what we're pushing. So what will happen under this? The NTC can promote the provision of investment in local internet service providers, internet exchange, internet data center, internet gateway facility. Kiko earlier said that if internet telcos, specifically yung sa internet service niya, is classified as a public utility, kakailanganin nila ng franchise. What we're saying here is, if a local internet service provider, an internet exchange, an internet data center, or an internet gateway facility will use existing networks, hindi na niya kailangan mag-apply for a franchise with Congress. We are also providing that there should be interconnection among service providers and carriers. Because we see na if there is no interconnection, syempre nagkakaroon lang yung duplication in the investment in facilities. However, if you require interconnection among service providers, it is not reasonable that we also allow them to get reasonable and fair return on their investments. So nakalagay din yun sa law. That will hopefully be determined by the NTC kung ano yung parameters ng reasonable and fair return on their investments. Okay. We also provide under the NTC yung protect ng rights ng end users. It was discussed earlier, yung general dissatisfaction natin with the services that our telcos provide. So, under the MCTIF provision on the rights of end users, may specific provision siya ng subscribers are entitled to prompt service. What does this mean? This means that if you apply for internet service, telco service, you should get a connection within 2 months of application. Siyempre, barring national calamity, etc., etc. Okay. We also provide for timely correction of errors of billing, and we also mandate the NTC to have a mechanism by which to address the complaints of end users. Okay. Another, I think, innovation that we have under the MCTIF is our amendment to the Intellectual Property Code. As of now kasi, ang nakaka-provide lang doon is copyright. But we are providing for copyleft and for free and public license. So, what are all of these 3? Essentially, lahat naman ito ay lisensya. Lahat ng ito is arrangement on how you are able to exercise your economic rights over your creation. So, sinasabi natin that an author of a work should be able to indicate kung mas preferred niya na under a copyleft doctrine or under free and public doctrine yung creation niya. So, I'm not going to specifics anymore, it's in the bill. And finally, we also included in the definition of literary and artistic works that are covered by IP protection yung software, scripts, programs, etc. Kasi hindi siya specifically included there as of today. So that is my report. We are now taking questions.
Hi. Here. Hi, I'm Carlos Fusareno. I'm a web mobile and game developer. So I kind of browsed over the NCTIF and I kind of noticed parang walang provision spam. The thing Kasi, do you guys know how bad spam is now? Something like,
Yeah.
something like 40 to 60% of emails now spam.
That is one.
It's that big, and lots of productivity. If you're administering a website and you have a forum, manually tatanggalin mo yung mga spam posts and very, very time consuming. So I think ang telcos, meron lang something about text spam. Di ba? Parang PNRs. No, there's NTC, di ba? Regulation. So sa email, it's even more damaging. And sa forums, economically, may economic damage yan. So we need a mechanism to protect users and people who run the interwebs.
We talked about this already, ah.
Yes.
Okay, ito yung discussion natin, Carl. Spam is bad. That's very strong. Spam, the servers, and everything like that. However, there is also, there's also a free speech component so that this is possible. We're going to discuss this later on. The problem with spam is that it could be classified in the real world analog of spam is junk mail. Okay? Junk mail. Anybody who has a post office box, anybody who has a permanent address probably receives some. Okay?
Yeah.
And is junk mail prohibited under existing law? That's
I have a
why.
point.
No.
Kasi junk mail, you have an economic cost to sending junk mail. Spam, you have virtually no cost in sending spam.
Meron din.
Pero sobrang liit. So actually, isa pa kasama sa spam is botnets. Do you guys know what a botnet is? So there are zombie botnets who are just sending spam. So parang kung na-take down nila sa botnet, significantly bumagsak yung spam sa mundo. So yun, spam. So I think we need something against real, hindi free speech. Kasi may kita mo na kung free speech lang, yung spam talaga eh. Kasi overseas may protection lang yung spam sa ibang countries.
Right. It might be better to outsource that spam protection to private companies.
For example,
Yes, pero kulang. Kasi kunyari, if you're running a server
that's why the US and Europe have not yet focused spam. Kasi companies and private individuals argue na spam is analogous to chain mail. Meron siyang real world analog. So, that's what this law is about. Kung meron siyang real world analog, na meron na siyang analog lang siya.
The standard for restricting free speech is that it would be narrowly tailored to make sure that only the affected speech is the one being exacted. Now, we've taken the position that it's almost next to impossible to make hard and fast rules to make.
But we talk about the analog is DDoS.
Okay,
Ibang DDoS, we know that, but it's like a DDoS.
It's like, but
Here's the, if the spam qualifies as DDoS, it will be penalized as DDoS.
Yeah, okay. Then,
come from abroad.
Not necessarily.
may mga local din. Saka, you can coordinate with different applications to take down servers.
If your computer's been compromised, then it's here. That's the other danger with spam, because if you're running a zombie and you don't know it, who are you gonna punish? The zombie? The owner of the zombie computer?
Clarify ko lang yung zombies. Pag yung computer mo na Trojan horse, sasaksakan na malware, ginagamit yun ng spammers to send spam sa the zombie PCs. So, kinakontrol nila ng hackers. And it's a criminal organizations ang nagsasend ng spam.
But you don't punish the zombie, ha? That's wrong.
Hindi mo-
Unless he knows. Yung pinakita ni Kokoy kanina na low earth,
Yung orbiting tayo gano'n.
Yun,
Sa dyan ginawa yan.
Yun, that's your fault. You wanted to put something to destroy somebody else.
Clarify ko lang yung low orbiting iron. It was a tool that's built by people from Anonymous. That people can just download to their PCs. Kunyari ganun sila dahil nirestrict yung Wikileaks, hindi binabayaran ng visa, MasterCard visa. So, you download this tool and then you set it to auto-attack. So, hinahammer niya yung servers ng visa. So, that was a self-inflicted botnet. You voluntarily joined the botnet. So,
But remember, it's not the, if there's the intent.
Yeah.
I have the intent to hurt somebody. But if I infect your PC You didn't know about it. I shouldn't be mad.
Yeah. So then,
Marnie.
Well, for one thing, what you just described, I'm not quite sure if it falls under a really, but now ancient law in access devices. That falls under the access devices law.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah. It was even before the e-commerce law. When the IDOT virus came out,
kasi I don't know, malapit yung
yeah,
IDOT virus.
what they hit in with was the access devices law. That applies to
But remember the access devices law was crafted crafted for the purpose of punishing people who have quote-unquote ATM.
Yeah, and Visa.
Wala. But analog na naman
But
siya.
again, what they're trying to point out is that the problems with botnet and with spam, the solution there is not legal, but technical. So I'm not quite sure that Congress is the right.
I think we address that. I think we need to be able to go after these guys.
Yeah, you can go after them, but you can't regulate that behavior.
Maybe we can solve it now, we can think about it.
Yeah.
And then, there was this thing about espionage. So parang now with Edward Snowden, parang how do we balance espionage versus FOI? Like for example, with regards to national defense, nakalista lang yan sa Wikipedia kung ano yung armaments natin, kung yung aeroplano natin, kung yung mga baril natin, yung sundalo natin. That's obviously counterproductive for national defense.
That's public information.
Actually,
It is.
Okay.
The number of active people the number of people in active service is public information. Okay? But the number of people who are in a specific service which is designed to be covered by privileged information, yun yung dun babagsak. And that's how the balance is. When we put in the provisions of FOI, we made sure that we're not overstepping reasonable grounds of privileged information. I mean, after all, we don't want to be sharing to the public yung mga discussions now that are going within the chambers of the Supreme Court, diba? These are covered by executive privilege. If, for example, Rep. Cheney decides to hold a session na napaka-sensitive na has to be in executive session, it's just right na hindi tayo lalagay ng webcam for and spy on her, diba? So, yun. It's okay that we have FOI, and I think it's great. But we also have to make sure that we don't enter into the bounds of executive privilege. There are some things that the government shouldn't broadcast. Strategy against China.
just with regards to
Can speak from here. I'll give my after that.
Data privacy. Yeah.
Nag-QA ka, ha?
So data privacy. You see all those email disclaimers at the bottom of emails.
They're not important.
They're not enforceable kasi they're after you read them and you did not agree with them. Right? So, okay. Finally, damages. They had some of the damages na footnotes. Parang medyo mababa yun.
They're aligned with
Yung the maximum nila.
Yes.
they're aligned with existing law. The FCPIS again, kung ano yung existing law, huwag mo nang, but unfortunately, we cannot go
Kasi for example, spear phishing. Let's say you go fishing, you get the corporate account,
I know.
or something like that. And then you get all the credit card accounts of all their users.
Right.
Then you start doing credit card
Yes.
fraud on millions of dollars.
Yes.
So, 2 million pesos is
I know,
compared to that.
I know, but
Also
yeah.
falls under another law.
Yes.
You're also breaking another law apart from.
It's like, diba, stealing the real card, credit card fraud, or stealing it by online. It's the same crime, but the commission of it is just via ICT. The problem is we want to increase the penalty of the maximum plan. We have to go back to the original law, concept. So, like yung point mo ang espionage,
I mean, if you find a case where you want to increase the penalty, it's done, because if it's done ICT, it's wholesale rather than retail.
It falls into the trap of RA 10175, which says that just because it's ICT, it's a segregating term. Which does not fall into the full idea of equal protection.
Essentially, anything with online, the punishment has to correspond with the existing offline law. You cannot increase it.
Under your concepts.
We're going to go by 101.
Not to revise the revised penal code.
Yes.
I just want to raise one simple fundamental point. I was raising my hand earlier, but apparently I wasn't called because of this next talk. But anyway, this is in relation to the security aspect, national defense and security provisions. But I'd like to relate it to the overall 4 pillars framework: rights, governance, development, and security. My fundamental question is this. If you take a look at provisions, there's this, it starts off with the so-called no-strike policy framework. So we will not cyber attack another state, as the Philippine state, but at the same time we will protect our state infrastructure in terms of our political economic security aspects. That's very clear. However, what do we do with the case wherein the entire Philippine state gets all its information from us and turns it overall to the American state? We're protecting our state from many other countries, but when it comes to the U.S., I'm raising this in relation to the Human Security Act. And at the same time, I know there's a repealing clause here. I think it's section 84, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, I think we need to take a look at that. Because what you're saying is we're going to protect the Philippine state against, let's say, for example, China, etc. But when it comes to the Americans, we have no qualms. We'll turn everything over to them. I don't know. That's why I want to raise the question now on the repealing. I want to clarify the repealing aspect. Because
Out of the U.S. County, I mean, where did you read that in here?
it's not specific there. But if you look at the AFP Modernization Act, again, that's just amending one part of the AFP Mod Act. But if you look at the overall AFP Mod Act, put that in the context of the 1951 RP-US Mutual Defense Treaty, the Visiting Forces Agreement, the Mutual Logistics Support Agreement, the JUSMAG process, including the Human Security Act. In effect, the Philippine state has a continuing cooperation framework with the U.S. in relation to not just training, but also information via the computer system.
Okay,
I know it's going to eat into another law. I mean, you probably need another law here, but I'm just posing that as a fundamental question, wherein we want to protect our state from other states. But on the other hand, we have a blind side here. When the Americans ask us for information, we don't clearly say no. We always tend to just give it to them. And that's why I'm raising a red flag here. Okay, speculative, but in effect, this has always been the case in many security aspects.
The answer to that is RA 10173, the Data Privacy Act, which says that not even the state can give away our data privacy.
And may I say, all rules and laws change. Times of peace are different from times of war. So if you're talking about something different, we're talking about normal, peaceful. In times of war, it's completely different.
The global war of terror of Bush is ongoing under the Obama White House. We are actually... actually, so the question is, whether there is a hot war or not.
Because of prison.
Well, yeah, I mean, even if we have no law and there's prison, we're still being spied upon. But here, in effect, we legalize and constitutionalize our framework in relation to the American.
In the internet, it's relevant. No, it's not.
It's not there, but I'm looking at the AFP Modernization Act, and at the same time, the repealing clause section. I want to ask: are we being implicit in repealing, for example, 10175, which is now enacted? It's explicit, okay, or is it explicit? I just want to make sure, because I said earlier, there is that section, or provision in 10175 that says we can share that information. So, yes, it's in 10175. And that's also reinforced earlier by the Human Security Act, the Anti-Terrorism Law. That's why I'm saying, when it comes to these other laws outside of MCPIF's framework, what's our attitude? Because otherwise you're saying we want to protect our state from these states, but we have two other laws that say, okay, we can actually share our information with the Americans.
Give your answer. Your answer. Again, look, this is the more specific law. This is the more specific law
compared to the other laws that you mentioned. So this will take precedence, number one. Number two, we made sure that, external controls, not even the state can access your data. Right. And if they want to access your data, they have to go to the court. And they have to notify you. And it won't be counted as notification against you until you actually receive it.
Let me tell you a story.
Wait.
Di ba may mga ganun kasi?
Ay, hindi. Implied consent, that doesn't count. Okay. The idea of RA 10173, the Data Privacy Act, if you've gone ahead and read it, is lahat ng personal information natin is not for sharing unless you allow it to be shared. You have to actually say, I am allowing this information to be shared. Okay? We're strengthening that through this. Secondly, the act of sharing of our information by, government official already, is punishable as a cybercrime. It's punishable under a cybercrime under MCPIF. Because he's not supposed to be sharing that information in the first place under RA 1173. Furthermore, if there is an intent for us to share information with an ally, we have to do it the right way. And the right way is go through the court.
Or through Congress, make a law.
Or to Congress or make a law. Diba? The aspect of the amendment to the AFP Modernization Act is only to give a mandate to the AFP to include among its, what's the term that they use? Battle space. Among their battle space, yung ICT, because it already exists, the threats are there. Coco is not here, and I'm hoping we can turn off the camera because I would like to share something off the record.
No, no?
Yes, please.
The microphone also.